This is the Newsroom.
This is the Newsroom for Wednesday, February 26, 2025. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, city businessman Marlan DaSilva is charged with the murder of a young mother and is remanded to prison. President Ali talks tough to citizens bribing police officers as annual officers' conference opens.
Every single citizen must play a role. If you try to bribe an officer, you are part of the problem.
Guyanese artists urge to create and adapt to thrive in evolving music industry. And in sport, the National Secondary Schools Track and Field Championships set for March 11 to 13, and Demerara starts under 15 inter-county on a winning note. With the news, I'm Kurt Campbell. We're glad you can join us. First up, businessman Marlan DaSilva was charged on Wednesday with the murder of young mother Kenisha Vaughn. The man appeared at the Diamond Magistrates Court where he was not required to enter a plea and was remanded to prison. The gruesome murder took place at the couple's Diamond Housing Scheme East Bank Demerara house shortly after DaSilva returned home Saturday night. He was earlier in the day imbibing and liming with a group of friends at a popular city spot. While there, Vaughn reportedly called him and asked that he come home. He became annoyed. According to a police report, DaSilva and Vaughn had an argument during which the businessman reportedly slapped her. In retaliation, police said Vaughn reportedly reached for a knife and approached the suspect. It was at this point that DaSilva pulled out his licensed firearm from the waist of his pants and discharged several rounds in Vaughn's direction, hitting her about the body. She immediately fell to the ground. DaSilva then contacted the police, who responded and rushed Vaughn to the Diamond Hospital, where she died while receiving treatment. The scene was processed and police said 4 9mm cases and 3 suspected projectiles were recovered. Upon examination, Vaughn's body bore 12 injuries suspected to be gunshot wounds. We tell you now that there continues to be a zero-tolerance policy for bribing law enforcement officers, and President Dr. Irfaan Ali on Wednesday issued a stern warning to civilians to desist from doing this to evade the law.
You want a well-trained, well-equipped, and highly professional police force that is capable of effectively safeguarding citizens and upholding the rule of law in a rapidly changing Guyana. And that is important. The job of the Guyana police force is to uphold the rule of law, to be professionals every single day of your life, to stand up for what is right every single day of your life, to defend the rule of law, to defend democracy, to always be on the right side. That is important. So, in building out this police force, there must be shared accountability and partnership. We spoke about partnership many times this morning. But what is shared accountability? Shared accountability is where every single citizen must understand that they have a role in building a strong police force, in building a professional police force, in building a responsible police force, in building a police force with high integrity. Every single citizen must play a role. If you try to bribe an officer, you are part of the problem.
That was Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Dr. Irfaan Ali. He was at the time addressing ranks gathered at the opening of the Guyana Police Force Annual Officers Conference. Turning his attention to immigration, President Ali said that legislation is being enhanced to better manage movement in and out of the country.
The next phase of advancement at our ports, and we're working with the U.S. On this, is to have a fully digitized scanner system for everything that is coming in and going out. So we are going to remove the burden on our human capacity, and we're going to have scanners at all our ports for every single thing that is going in and coming out, with traceability, accountability, and also with storage capacity, so that we can have better security and better management of our border system. With that will come enhanced legislation that would see higher fines higher fines for who uh, persons who would not correctly declare what is in their bags going in and coming out. So the burden of responsibility legislatively will be shifted more to people, because partnership is about people and people must take responsibility for their action. So you'll see strengthened legislation, higher fines, and also greater penalties for persons who would try to cheat the system or beat the system.
The 2025 Annual Police Officers Conference is being held under the theme Building a Resilient and Contemporary Police Force, Strengthening Accountability, Innovation, and Partnership for Safer Communities. For the newsroom, Sharda Bacchus.
The U.S. Embassy in Guyana has not been notified of any deportation of Guyanese citizens amid the crackdown by the Donald Trump administration on illegal immigrants. However, routine deportations will continue as it has been for the entire region and beyond. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Nicole Terrio, told reporters at the sidelines of an event on Wednesday.
Actually, I've heard nothing at this point about that from the administration, the new administration in Washington. We've always had routine deportations of citizens of all over the Caribbean, all over the world, and that's not something new. But you won't be seeing something like you've seen for Colombia or some of the other countries, a large group. That's not something that will be happening for Guyana. It will just be a routine process that's been going on for decades.
In his Tuesday night Issues in the News commentary, Attorney General Alan Nandlal firmly stated that individuals facing criminal charges cannot attend court hearings virtually if they are outside of Guyana, stressing that this practice undermines the territorial nature of criminal jurisdiction. The shift to virtual hearings, which allowed legal proceedings to continue during the pandemic, has become a permanent feature of Guyana's court system. It has proven beneficial, reducing the need for costly travel and allowing prisoners in remote facilities to participate in hearings through video link. However, Nandlal raised alarms over a developing trend in the magistrates' court. He noted that some defendants, having left the country for various reasons, are being permitted to attend court hearings virtually.
That is not permissible in law. The reason to any lawyer understands law. And it is this: criminal jurisdiction is territorial. And a criminal court can only exercise jurisdiction over you if you are within the jurisdiction of the court. There is more logic in that than law. So if you are outside of the jurisdiction of the court can't try you because you are not within the jurisdiction of the court. The court can't exercise a jurisdiction over you when you are beyond the jurisdiction of the court. If you are found guilty, the court can't sentence you. The court can't deliver you to the prison authorities. The court can exercise coercive jurisdiction and power over you because you are not within the reach of the court, the jurisdictional reach of the court. Now there is a difference between that situation and a situation where a person may refuse to submit to the jurisdiction of the court and either has been served with a summons and is refusing to appear before the court, or absconds.
At the recent 48th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community CARICOM in Barbados, President Irfaan Ali announced the extension of the region's ambitious 20 by 2025 food security goals to 2030 with additional resilient and sustainable goals.
Guyana's President Irfan Ali described the current period in CARICOM as critical, not just from a trade and geopolitical standpoint, but also regarding food production, food security, and rising food prices. During the recent Heads of Government meeting in Barbados, President Ali spoke about the rise in global prices for cereals, meat, and dairy, among other food items last year. This year also presents additional concerns with increased climate-related challenges, rising transportation and logistics costs, and uncertainties in tariffs and trade rules. All of this will directly influence food costs both globally and within the Caribbean.
If Brazil become affected, then we will have major problems in terms of prices and supply. So you would not only have a price problem.
To navigate these mounting challenges, the Caribbean must adopt a strategic approach, President Ali stated, and announced the expansion of the 25 by 2025 initiative to 2030. The Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture identified 6 projects to support the expansion: building capacity for Caribbean agriculture extension services, enhancing adaptive capacity of coastal communities, and establishment of a digital fabrication lab, diversifying the Caribbean fruit crop industry, and a bioeconomic model in organic waste management, and finally, improve water security and climate resilience.
So as a result of this holistic approach, we will now be expanding the focus to achieving not only food security, but resilience, sustainability, and enhanced technology with greater participation among women and youth by 2030. So we are adding some additional goals. We are successful in expanding production, notwithstanding hurricanes, storms, floods, all of which destroy production and our productive capacity. But our farmers, our policymakers would have shown tremendous resilience.
The 2030 food security agenda will also incorporate a tech-driven agricultural sector and includes greater participation from women and young people. For Newsroom, Isanalo Patwo.
More news ahead. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the newsroom. To enhance their overall operation and image, a comprehensive review of the Guyana Police Force standard operating procedures, terms of reference, policies, and standing orders are currently underway. Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken made this disclosure on Wednesday as he addressed the opening ceremony of the annual Officers Conference, which is currently underway at the Officers Mess Annex, Ivlery. He was at the time outlining measures being taken to improve the police operation to respond to modern-day development.
Integrity is not negotiable, but we have mandated all the traffic and patrol ranks to utilize body-worn cameras to ensure transparency and accountability when dealing with the public. Additionally, we have formulated and disseminated a code of ethics pocketbook, reinforcing ethical conduct across all the ranks. Recognizing the necessity for continuous refinement, we are currently undertaking a comprehensive revision of the standard operational procedure, terms of reference, policies, and standing orders. 2025-2026 future outlook, we have actualized sustainable achievements and remain resolute, committed to advancing our efforts within the aim of fully realizing the objective set forth in our strategic plan 2022-2026, striving to achieve its complete fulfillment. Therefore, we hope to achieve the following. 1, establish a police tourism department, behavioral unit, and an oil and gas unit. We have established an aviation unit, but will be boosting that unit. We've established a police reform committee to drive change management, transitioning the Guyana Police Force to a Guyana Police Service, which is necessary. Continue to digitize the force assets management function and record keeping. Establish a strategic staff planning to increase staff but the workload of other internal factors. Develop and implement crime prevention strategies based on stratified policing and other data-driven approaches. Design and implement early intervention system through stakeholders. Enhance recruitment effort by redesigning and recruiting program. Boost digital forensic and cyber capability. Establish a unit to deal with 2026-2031 strategic plan, and we are going to establish a unit to deal with artificial intelligence.
The decline in world market prices for rice is directly impacting the prices that local farmers are receiving. This is according to President of the Guyana Rice Producers Association, Rambridge. On Tuesday, rice farmers in Blackbush Polder, Currentine Berbice, took a stand and protested for paddy. Currently, millers are offering $57,000 per ton.
We have to understand that world market prices dropped significantly from a year ago to today. From 700 and over per ton, it down to just about 400 per ton. And this has we are seeing the graph that the rice price is on the lower end of the graph, is coming down. And hopefully that very soon it can go back to the upper end. So as farmers, we have to understand that there's a fluctuation in the market, and we're now seeing the dip in the rice industry. Hopefully things can get better soon. I want to say that yesterday the president met with the millers, right? And president intervention yesterday has a hack company up their price to 57,000 per ton. They were paying 55,000. And the meeting, after the meeting yesterday, the hack group up their price to 57,000 per ton. We are hoping that other millers will follow suit, so that in the plight that, you know, everyone coming together can able to, you know, help with this present situation that the industry is in.
Foreign Secretary Robert Prasad on Wednesday revealed that Guyana and Brazil are working to ensure seamless access for truckers and operators between the neighboring countries. This will significantly enhance and further expand trade between Guyana and Brazil. During an interview with the newsroom, the Foreign Secretary explained that currently Guyanese truckers can only operate up to Bonfim, but now Guyana is working to expand this access in Brazil. The trade mission scheduled for March 17 to the 21st, 2025 will see a team of government and private sector representatives from Guyana travel to Boa Vista and Manaus in northern Brazil.
We've seen there's been increase, a close to 170% increase in trade between Guyana and, well, you can say Guyana and northern Brazil in particular, but Brazil as a whole, there's been 170% increase over the last 3 years alone. And this number can only grow. A lot of it is taking place in the areas of agriculture, as well as commercial trade. We've seen that. We've seen also the movement in terms of people in dealing with, particularly in the tourism, hospitality sector. But a lot of it is driven in terms of in the area of agriculture, also in the area of quarry, in terms of, and all other inputs too, both for construction and as well as inputs to the agricultural sector. On Friday, we have a very important meeting whereby we are talking how it is that we can iron out some of the outstanding issues as it relates to road transport, that is allowing Guyanese truckers and other operators to have access to the Brazilian roadways, as well as having Brazilian truckers having access to Guyana's roadways, so as to foster trade and commercial ties. So this investment and trade mission with a competent government would be meeting representatives of different sectors, be it in agriculture, be it in areas in terms of looking at those who are involved in commercial, looking at commercial ties, tourism, hospitality areas, and other opportunities that might exist. So we're expecting a very strong team from the private sector to meet with a very broad-based private sector team in both states, Boa Vista, and going to Boa Vista, as well as traveling onwards to Manaus, and that will taking place in the middle of March. We currently have an international road service agreement, but there are elements of it which have to be activated that will have, as I said, full and seamless access and movement of goods. We right now have no issues of movement of people, but also in terms of the logistics. So it is dealing with the logistics and having the arrangements in place whereby truckers from Guyana can have full access into the state of Roraima, not where it's currently limited, given we have an agreement whereby they're only allowed to go up to Bonfim, which is not fully into the state itself.
St. John, the Guyanese American songwriter, fashion designer, and philanthropist, gathered local artists and creatives on Tuesday night at the Marriott Hotel to launch his Develop Home initiative. The event featured a meet and greet aimed at creating a network between young creatives and educating them on how to move their brand to the next level. A panel discussion headed by St. John offered expert advice to the intrigued gathering of creatives.
It's not a fancy story. My name is St. John. But if you grew up with me in Campbellville, you might call me Carlos. I make music for a living. I design clothes for a living. I make art for a living. I star in movies now. This is a new thing I got added for a living. Look, I'm an artist. I was born in Brooklyn and I grew up between Georgetown, Guyana and Brooklyn, New York. That was it. I come from two poor parents and a long, long lineage of poor people. And my mom did everything she possibly could because she was like, look, if I could get a visa and I could get them out of here, then they could get a head start. You didn't think I wrote Brown Skin Girl 1,000 times in my head before I wrote it? I put out music that nobody listened to, mixtapes that nobody had heard, and it made me go, oh, it's not good enough. And I didn't think that meant I couldn't be good enough. I just thought it meant, oh, there's something I ain't figure out yet. Because if I had a roti shop, and a roti shop wasn't making no money, I might make a big shop. I still want to express my bacon, but I gotta retool and figure out the parts that don't work. Because it's a business and you are an entrepreneur. When you start looking at yourself as an entrepreneur first, you take more accountability of why it didn't work.
As a production company, that you meet with promoters, work on, I think one of the best sellers are 3D layouts, and if you can furnish them with that and they can go to a sponsor to show them how they're going to benefit, this is a look that we're going for.
But our limiting factor is sponsors. And if we can't get the right sponsorship, then we can't go to the production companies and have them do their thing. We're going to be limited. So, with that said, we hope that entertainment could get a boost because Guyana, there's so many opportunities here.
A niche isn't just what you do, it's what you consistently show up for. So if this is your niche, this is what you're doing all the time. This is you.
I think the music, the valuation of music in Guyana isn't there because the copyright situation is very bad in the country. It's a dated copyright law from 1953, if I'm not mistaken.
When the newsroom returned, the financial, weather, and bridge reports, along with sport news. Welcome back now for a look at what's happening in sport. We start things off with some track and field news. The Ministry of Education has remodeled the National Schools Cycling, Swimming and Track and Field Championships, commonly called Nationals, to the National Secondary School Track and Field Championships. The revamped athletics meet will occur from March 11 to the 13th at the National Track and Field facility in the west coast of Demerara. This change marks a departure from the traditional structure of the event, which celebrated its 61st edition in 2023. The move to a March timeframe will become the new standard, providing Guyanese student athletes with optimal preparation for the Carifta Games in April.
Today we gather at this wonderful location, not just to celebrate competition, but to reaffirm our commitment to youth development, sports, and the holistic growth of our students. These championships that we now prepare to welcome in a few weeks' time are extremely important to the development of our students, our athletes, and to sports in general.
This year I'm looking forward to having a successful campaign once again at the 2025 National Championships. I'm setting out to break a couple of records myself. I know it won't be easy, it's easier said than done. Everybody knows this, but with God anything is possible, and with the help of my coaches and my fellow teammates, I know I will do well and I will continue to be successful in athletics and in everything I do.
So participating at the National School Championship, it opened doors for me because people got to see my full potential, what I could do with help. People picked me to represent Guyana, and I did in a lot of international meets. I got gold in the Carifta Games and 2023 and 2024, and I'm planning on going back there to go there and get a third gold medal for my country.
And this is what we are promoting. Our students, our athletes across the length and breadth of this country. And so today, as we launch a highly anticipated activity enshrined in the ministry's calendar, which is the launch of the National Secondary Schools Track and Field Championship 2025. This officially signals or gives the indication that the Ministry of Education is on the way forward in realizing yet another thrilling, magnificent, trailblazing event that will be in region number 3. And so the whole remodeling or the repositioning of the Nationals sits directly on our athletes benefiting significantly in the Carifta Games. And we know that, and we have learned, or we heard from two of our very own, we know that those games will be off in April of this year. And so the Nationals, in this sense, will project our students so that they can compete equally at these events. And so on behalf of the Minister of Education, Ministry of Education, it gives me great pleasure to now declare this Nationals 2025, the launching of this event, official.
Defending champions Demerara started their campaign in the Guyana Cricket Board's Under-15 Inter-County 50-over competition with a commanding 181-run win over the Select 11 at Lusignan. Leg spinner Riyad Latif picked up remarkable figures of 720 as Demerara dismissed the Select 11 for 65 after they were set a target of 247. Fast bowler Patrice Fraser picked up 311 as Demerara romped to a convincing win. Earlier, Demerara recovered in 97-7 to post 246 for 9, thanks largely to an unbeaten 53 from Prosper Jacobus. The left-hander struck 5 fours in a responsible innings that lifted his side out of deep trouble. Skipper Brandon Henry also played his part in the recovery, scoring a brisk 46 after the top-order batters failed to make an impact. Meanwhile, after his majestic bowling performance, Riaz Latif said he's aiming for more wickets in the remaining inter-county matches with the hope of making the Guyana team. It is from this tournament that the Guyana team will be selected to play the Cricket West Indies Rising Stars Under-15 Championships in Antigua in April. Newsroom's Avinash Ramzan caught up with Latif after his outstanding bowling performance.
Riaz, first of all, congrats picking up 7 for 20 today. Tell me about how you feel about the performance.
I feel really great from the support from the teammates and going on to the game. I didn't really do well inside the bat, so I think I have to come with the ball now and just give it my best. So I give it my best and comes out good.
All right, you guys were 97 for 7 when you batted, but recovered to score 246. A wonderful recovery. You were confident that you could defend that total?
Yes, I was confident with our bowling that we had. The majority of bowlers that we had, I know we had to defend it. So we just go with a good mindset to defend the total.
All right, you got 7 wickets, many of them clean bowled today. Is this the best you have ever bowled?
Yes, best.
Yeah, and that has given you a lot of confidence now going forward in the tournament that you could go on and win.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to get more fight for in the S7 county match and move on to the Guyana team as well.
Yeah, and you must be excited as well for the performance by Brandon. You got 46 and Prosper, who got a 50.
Yeah, they come and take us out of that hole that we went in. I should now come and take us out and put us in a great spot. So to move on to the win.
More known for his fast bowling, Prosper Jacobus made his mark on the Under-15 Inter-County tournament with the bat, scoring a responsible 53 not out to help Demerara to victory over the Select 11. The left-hander was elated to contribute to the win and spoke to Newsroom's Avinash Ramzan about his approach in leading a Demerara recovery that resulted in victory.
Hi Prosper, you are more into this Demerara team as a bowler, but today you turned up with the bat, getting your first 50 in any form of cricket. Yeah. How does it feel?
It feels very nice. The coaches just sent me to put my best foot forward, play my natural game, and just bat.
Yeah, what was the discussion with you and Brandon? Because you guys had a partnership, and then towards the end, you and Joshua also had a partnership.
The discussion was really just stay and survive, and last couple of overs, just beat it.
Yeah, and you were coming close, the overs were starting to run out, and then you were nearing that 50. Were you a bit nervous that you wouldn't have gotten it?
Yeah, I was very nervous. I was very wary, but I just backed myself and tried to stay in as long as possible.
Yeah, and you picked up a slight injury when you batted. How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling much better. I helped with the physio, and I should be able to play tomorrow.
Right, and of course that win must give you guys a lot of confidence.
Yeah, we're going into the next game very confident and hopefully come out victorious.
All right. Wonderful knock today. Prosper, continue the good work.
Yeah, thank you.
More inter-county under-15 news. In a more balanced contest at LBI Berbice, seen here in red, defended their total of 132 to win by 26 runs against Essequibo in a low-scoring match. The Barbicians were bowled out in 36 overs, and Luke Amsterdam making a top score of 40 and Arif Bacchus scoring 36, while Shazim Mohammed picked up 5 for 18. Essequibo lost wickets at regular intervals during the run chase, being dismissed for 106 in 34.5 overs. Richard Ramdial and Ravindra Prasad bagged 3 wickets apiece to lead the Barbicians to an opening win. The Ministry of Education has confirmed that schools' cycling and swimming competitions will continue to be held at the regional level, despite their exclusion from the revamped National Secondary Schools Track and Field Championships. Deputy Chief Education Officer Dr. Ritesh Tularam, speaking at the launch of the new athletics championships, stated that while no specific dates were given, these disciplines will be contested in the future. Dr. Tularam also announced that athletics competitions for primary school students will conclude at the regional level. The newly restructured National Secondary Schools Track and Field Championships, the nation's premier athletics meet, will be held from March 11 to the 13th at the National Track and Field facility on the west coast of Demerara.
We recognize that the events that our students or athletes are expected to participate in at the Carifta Games, those are the events that we're focusing the nationals on. As a result, we have not seen cycling and swimming reflective at the nationals for 2025. However, the Ministry of Education remains committed to ensure that we will not throw these two events out of the window. We will continue to ensure at the regional level our students are exposed to these events so that ultimately they can use them now to become that national athlete regionally or internationally. So the reason why you're not seeing it is because of we want to reflect the model as is in the Carifta Games, hence those events. Now, primary school, as we know, they will compete up to the regional level, right? So we'll have our primary school students competing all the way to the regionals, and that's the cutoff in this regard.
England was dumped out of the Champions Trophy by a nerve-shredding 8-run defeat by Afghanistan in Lahore. Joe Root threatened to rescue his side from the brink, hitting a superb 120 as others fell around him in pursuit of 326. Jofra Archer followed for 14 in the penultimate over, leaving final pair Adil Rashid and Mark Wood 13 to get from the last. They managed only singles from the first 4 balls, and Rashid was caught at long off. The penultimate delivery of England were dismissed for 317. Earlier, Ibrahim Zadran took Afghanistan to 325 for 7 with a sensational 177 from 146 balls after England had their opponents 37 for 3 in the 9th over but conceded 108 in the final 9, ultimately deciding the contest. On Thursday, Pakistan will host Bangladesh at Rawalpindi from 500 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of this newscast. On behalf of the news and technical teams, I'm Kurt Campbell saying thank you.